Hey guys, this is Dinosaur Drawer, and this is part 2 on how to draw the Carcharodontosaurus. So I noticed that I I kind of made the feet a little bit too, his legs a little bit too short. Um, but I don't really think that it's going to be too much of a problem. So yeah, what we're going to do now is put in the teeth and stuff. And yeah, his teeth are very straight, to be fair. Alright, his teeth go kind of something like this. They aren't too large, and then they kind of stay at the same length and kind of get smaller until there. And over here, it goes like this. A few big ones over there, and then it kind of goes like that. So let's draw in his teeth. Alright, my pen won't work as well. Yeah, he has a lot of teeth actually. They kind of go like this. And then over here, it goes like this. Alright, so now we're going to draw in a line over here. We want to get his rib cage over here, and we want to have a line over here. Like this. And it goes till the end of his tail. So yeah, let's draw in a bit of shadow over here. And a few wrinkles as well over here. A lot of wrinkles actually. It's going to be very dark over here. And then we get a few scales over here. I want there to be like something like this. A lot of these big scales, and maybe a few small ones over here as well. And we can try and make this a little bit darker. Just the bottom. And now we have to create a lot of wrinkles over here. Something like this. And let's put a few spikes on his neck. And let's get a little bit more shadow over here as well. And just get some more wrinkles in here. Something like this. And now we can also get a shadow line over here and put a little bit of shadow over it. And also put in the ribs, a few of them. These are going to be very long ones. So what I usually do is put in about 4 ribs, but now I'm putting in 4.5. So make this a little bit darker over here, especially at the bottom part. And then try and create this kind of detailed texture. Only on the left side. Something like this. This should be fine for now. And what you could do is just draw in a couple of scales at random places. This will create a little bit more of a realistic kind of look into your drawing, but try to put them in at the darkest spaces. For example, the shadow over here isn't very detailed, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a few scales over it, just like this, and now it looks a little better. And you can also create a little bit more shadow over here on top of his neck. Something like this, and a little bit of shadow underneath this. Well, a lot of shadow actually. And then you can always put in those kind of veins and wrinkles that kind of go this way. And put a little bit more shadow behind his lower jaw. And also do the same thing over here. And you can put in an ear over here, but I don't think you will be able to see it very clearly. Creating a little bit of darker shadow over here. Alright, that looks about fine for now. You can always put in a few of those little scales. Kind of create a bit more detail in the drawing, but don't make them too dark, otherwise you will mess up the shadowy parts of the drawing. You don't want that to happen. And you can always go in those larger scales and darken the bottom right or the bottom left of the scale. That will give it a bit more of a realistic 3D look. Put a few of them over here as well, just a few. Alright, this is starting to look pretty realistic, that's my opinion. Okay, now we can try and get some detail going on the rest of his body, and we can make this also a little bit darker as well. And Also make this a little bit darker. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm going to draw these kind of lines, the same tone, all over this lower part of his body up until the tail. So I'll skip to the part where I did that. Okay, I'm done, and now I can put in the tone that I want. For example, I want it to be a little bit darker on the bottom over here, and also a little bit darker over here. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And everything that I'm doing with the pen right now, you can also do it with the normal pencil if you want. So that's a huge thing, because some techniques that I use with a pen are very hard to replicate with the normal pencil, but all the techniques that I'm using right now, you can always do those with the normal pencil, and it's not too hard to kind of get the same thing. So I'm going to put in a couple of scales in these lighter areas. Not too much, just a couple of them. Otherwise the light areas will change into the dark areas, and I don't want that. So now I want to darken this line and make it a little bit more clear to see. Might have made it a little bit too dark over there, but it's going to be okay, I believe. So now I want to do a couple of lines going like this, a little bit more detail into it. Maybe a couple of lines going like this. Some wrinkles and stuff. Kind of create more detail into your drawing. Alright, and because I made this so dark, I now have to go back into this part and make it a little darker as well, but only at the bottom part. But that's okay, we can just go back and put in a little bit more shadow and stuff. So now it looks a little bit more compatible with the rest. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Create a little bit more shadow over here, and also let's put in those wrinkles again that I usually put in, because it makes the drawing look good, and it makes the transition between his leg and the rest of his body look good as well. So over here we also want this to be kind of a bit shaped like that, and then we want a lot of wrinkles over here, which go all the way to his hip. They go all the way up until his hip. And I don't want to make it too dark, so I'm not going to go too far with this. Just create something like this, and then make this part a little bit darker. And yeah, the feet are a little bit too short, but I believe it will be okay at the end. So now I want to make this line a little darker as well. And at some places make those wrinkles a little bit darker. Alright, I believe that looked realistic enough at this point. So now I'm just going to add a little bit of depth and shadow into it, and also create a little bit more shadow beneath this line that I made. starting to look quite good. So just go over it and over it until you have the right tone that you want for that area. And I believe this drawing might turn out to be very dark, but that's only better, I believe, if we can get it as dark as we can. Because I believe that some drawings, when you make it a little darker, it looks a little better than the just normal typical drawings of mine. Alright. Put a little bit of shadow behind every kind of wrinkle that we created over here. And then just put some scales and lines into it. And darken the lines for the wrinkles a little, so you can still see the wrinkles and stuff. A little bit shadow over here. Then you just create some lines. Maybe create something like this. Put a few scales down here. I believe we've come a pretty long way. I mean, there's not too much that we still need to cover. So what you could do over here is just create these kind of lines that go that way, and over here they go like this way, almost in a big circle. And it's still, I know that it's still too light compared to the rest of the drawing, but that's okay, because later on we can always go over it, like what I'm doing right now. I'm just going over some parts to make it a little darker. I want this part to be a little darker as well. Alright, and over here you just have those wrinkles that kind of go right here. And then you also have those lines going down. Like this. Not too many of them, just a few. And then just put a couple of lines going like this. Darken this part a little bit to create a little bit of shadow over there. And I'm going very fast as well for some people, so if you're trying to draw along with this, just pause the video at some certain point so you can have a little bit more time to catch up and stuff. So over here I want this part to be very dark, just as dark as this, but not too dark, because there's also a lot of light coming down on top of it, so that's why I'm leaving a highlight over there, as you can see. And also I want to have a little bit more of those, I believe they're called osteoderms. That's just something that I hear a lot from other drawing channels, other dinosaur drawing YouTubers and stuff. They call it osteoderms. I'm not really sure what it means, but maybe if you want you can let me know in the comments below what it means. So just enlighten me a little bit about that. Alright, then just try and fade this kind of shadow into the rest of the drawing. And darken the ribs a little. especially on the underside of his belly. And try and get a little bit more shadow over here actually. Alright, so it's starting to look pretty okay in my opinion. And let's see, the osteoderms kind of go away over here because the hip is in front of it, so they kind of continue over here. And I'm not really being very accurate with them, I'm just putting them in very quickly and not really paying attention to how much distance there is between every one of them. Let's just make them kind of disappear around there. So now I'm just going over these wrinkles with a little bit of a technique that will create a little bit of skills into it. Alright, and also I will have to put in one muscle over here, just one. That's going to be all. Get a bit of shadow going on over here. At first you want it to be very light, and later on you can go over it with a darker tone. And over here will be his knee, of course. He has a very large knee, I believe. And I'm making the lines very dark already, very thick and dark, to create more of a shadow kind of thing in it, and a little bit of depth in it. So over here we want to start drawing in these lines, a bit of shadow over here, and over here it gets thinner and thinner until you reach this point, and it kind of goes like this over here. And then just try and connect these lines with the rest of his leg that is still white. And also over here try and connect this. Now you go over this part with a little bit of a darker tone, so press down a little bit harder over here. And also over here, and it's going to be very thick over here, and then it just gets thinner and thinner. And then just again go over it with those lines that connect with the rest, to make it look a little bit smoother. And this way it also looks a little bit more like wrinkles and a little bit of detail. Alright, and we're already at 24 minutes. I'm not sure if I can finish this within 2 parts, but we'll see how far we go until the camera stops recording, alright? At some point the camera will stop recording again, and then just don't worry. I will have another part if that happens, but we'll see what happens. Okay, so over here we have a muscle that goes like this, and then we have a muscle that goes like this. And over here I'm already putting in a little bit of shadow, like this. And let's make his let's make a muscle over here. And then let's make a muscle over here. And also a muscle over there. This is a really hard muscle to draw actually. I almost never get it exactly right, like how I want it to be. So it's really hard to get it right. But yeah. A little bit more shadow over here. Maybe get a little bit more small scales in the knee section. And a few wrinkles around it. Alright. And sometimes I do connect these muscles with each other. Just go something like this. This part is very dark. And then it just goes something like this and just connect these lines a little bit. And also put a bit shadow over here. And put those very dark lines to kind of create the illusion of scales over there. And yeah, we can also put some dark scales everywhere if we want, but that's a step that we could take later on in the drawing. It's not really something to worry about right now. So I believe one leg is completely done. Well, this part might be a little darker, and this part as well. Just a little bit more shadow in it, and a few lines over there. Alright. And I might have made this foot a little bit too small, but yeah, it doesn't really appeal that much. Because I'm far from perfect. I'm just trying to improve and trying to make some videos the best I can, at least. And sometimes when I'm really tired, because I am sometimes, I kind of mess up some proportions like I did on the T-Rex. I might even redo that one, I'm not sure, but I'm really sorry that it wasn't at the quality that I usually upload, because normally I upload this video will be very good quality. I mean, the drawing looks pretty good in my opinion, but sometimes when I'm really tired the quality goes down, and on the T-Rex one I couldn't even follow my reference image anymore. I couldn't keep track of it, so I kept messing up some certain parts and it looked really bad at one point. So I'm really sorry. I'm not sure anymore who was the one that requested it. I believe it was Black Tiger BT. So yeah, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry, and I might redo that one especially for you, because you requested me to draw that one, and you kind of expected me to create some quality content, and it didn't turn out that way, so I'm really sorry. So next time I'll try to get some more sleep. It's just that these videos take me a lot of time to make, and sometimes I keep working on them, on these videos, until like late at night. Sometimes even when my parents wake up in the morning, I'm still drawing. So yeah, it's just that I'm trying to put a lot of effort into it. I'm trying to put a lot of good drawings on YouTube and stuff, and I'm really trying to grow as a YouTuber and stuff. I'm really trying to get more